Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and if you look up to the old sky the new, you'll see dark clouds slightly beginning to part because that's what's been following us for last week. In this game right here, we've done everything we needed today just to get back in the one and run. Again, it doesn't erase the frustration, the pain or the disappointment of last week, but that's life, people. You've got to move on, you've got to look forward, and that is what we're here doing in today's video. We're going to break down, react and discuss to Rangers 3, Killie 1. Now, if you watched yesterday's preview video, by the way, you'd have saw what I was wanting to see from this game. I wanted to see a Rangers team pissed off. I wanted to see a Rangers team angry. I wanted to see a Rangers team actually start a game of football like they know the ball's supposed to go in the opposition's actual net. And to be fair, Rangers definitely did start positively in this game with a goal just 5-6 minutes into a game. It was perfect. It was storybook. It was exactly what we needed to springboard in and really hurt a Killie side where we as good for the first half as we were in the second half. No, but we'll get there, people. But before we actually break down the game recap, I usually start off with the player who's impressed me the most. I normally call out a Malik Tillman, etc., for instance. But he wasn't playing the day as, of course, that young man was injured. We saw that last week, and he was kept at the team tonight, or today, I should say, sorry, because, again, he's just recovering from that calf/thigh injury. But I want to talk about the next player, somebody who did return to the starting midfield, people, because we made 3 midfield changes coming into this game versus Kilmarnock. We brought in Ryan Jack, we brought in Raskin, and we brought in Cantwell, and out went Kamara, Lundstrom, and of course Malik Tillman, who we did discuss, is actually injured, and he was injured last week. And that there is frustrating to me, people. As good as this game was, to see them dominate for 45 minutes, I could keep thinking, people, that's the midfield. That's what it looks like when you've got an actual midfield. Why are we starting our best midfielders in a game at home versus Killie, but we've only done it in a cup? I'll let it go, people. But aye, it was frustrating, but again, it brought a balance and it brought just a different animal for this Rangers side, as again we easily dominated that area, especially in the first 45 minutes. But I'm leading, and this is a long-winded way just to make my way up the road to Cantwell here, people, because that's the guy. That was a guy that was dropped out last week, and that was a guy that came into this game and showed what he is capable of being. Now, again, the level of opposition isn't the same, but what's the narrative about Cantwell? Why do you not want him playing against the likes of Celtic? What's that outdated narrative that's actually out there? He's too lightweight, he'll not be able to handle the physicality. That's what's said about him. Well, he's just absolutely dominated a game versus Kilmarnock. Are they physical? Are they the type of people that's going to let somebody like that off the hook without getting kicked for pillar to post? No, that's what they've done in that game to that laddie. They kicked him, they pulled him, they tried to talk to him, they tried to pull him down, they were nudging him off the ball. They tried every little trick in the book to get inside that laddie's head and really rattle his cage. But what I loved about that laddie today, people, and again, it wasn't a great team performance, but if there was one player that stood head and shoulders above everybody else out there, it was Cantwell. Not once did he get involved in any of the nonsense Killie done, and every single time he was kicked, he got back up, won the ball, and got on with his job. Anyone who's worried about this guy being lightweight, that needs to let that nonsense go. Again, I'm going to go and mention a Celtic player here. Apologies for that, but it's like the Hatate argument. Oh, he's going to be too small for the midfield, blah, blah, blah. No, he's a good player. Cantwell is a good player. Guess what happens when you play good players, people? You get good football. You don't need grafters all the time. You need talent, and that's exactly what Cantwell brings to this Rangers team. So aye, spoiler alert for the rest of the video, this man was my man of the match, and if you're not the biggest fan of Cantwell, you're not going to like today's video because he was involved in absolutely everything. And it wasn't just for the creative side of thing, it was defensively. He was getting stuck in, he was slide tackling power, he was getting involved and everything, and the amount of times this man won the ball back was genuinely frightening. So aye, my biggest positive and the biggest reason I'll be smiling tonight is I seen one player step up, answer the bell and show he's got what it takes. And I think that there actually gives me the perfect transition in to the game recap, because again, pulling it back from what we said about a minute and a half ago, we took the lead early in this game, and who was directly involved in it? Cantwell. I liked it. It was a short corner, it was a bit of initiative from Barisic playing it into Colak, who does very well to play it back to Cantwell. He fires in a volley that gets blocked. He then hits another volley. The ball then drops to Colak, who's reactive. Again, that's the type of striker he is. In and fawn in the box, he's usually sniffing about it, always on his toes, never flat-footed and being lazy. He gets there, it hits a strike. It's well saved by the goalie, but it falls to big CB number 1 at the back post, and Connor Goldson sends us on our way. And I loved the two players that was heavily involved in that. Colak, again, who's got his critics. Well, I just didn't understand, people, because it's like that Gordon Ramsay meme. Like when Morelos was back for injury and had a couple rough games, everyone's like, oh dear God, just it's alright. But Colak played a couple games after getting injury and folks calling this lad a donkey. People, did you see a donkey today? Because I saw a guy that could link up the play and again was involved in nearly everything positive for Rangers. So aye, let's just calm it down. I know we all love Morelos and that, but everyone moans that we need new players, we need to revamp this, we need... When new players gets played, you want the guys that's failed us for years. Like, what do you want for this lad? He came in, he done his part and he was heavily involved in the first goal, and obviously it didn't stop there. Now, if you've been watching Rangers this season and gone into last season as well, usually when they scored an early goal, there was always that period where we started to lapse and just slow things down. But Raskin refused to allow that to happen. I really liked the midfield partnership, the almost 2 and then the 3 of obviously Cantwell, but I liked Raskin with Jack because every time somebody came, they were getting nailed, they were winning the ball. I actually really liked that, and the next highlight was actually that exact press. Kilmarnock trying to get out, Jacko's closing down on the left hand side, Raskin's closing down in the middle, and Raskin just wins the 50-50, gallops with the ball, has Colak there and has Ryan Kent on the left, I believe, but he ends up trying to have a shot that ends up hitting the defender's hand as it's low on the ground. But again, for me, it's never a penalty. Now, is it a penalty in today's rules? I don't know, people, but I wouldn't have gave that in as a penalty kick, but we'll obviously come back to that in a few seconds. But before we do, people, a wee example of what I'm talking about regarding the midfield is after that ball hit the hand, etc., Kilmarnock tried to get out. Again, Cantwell, Jack, Raskin, they're all involved in winning the ball back, and then Cantwell just gallops with the ball, lifts it unbelievably, a curl through ball, 30 yards, drops it right on the chest of Sakala in behind the defence, but Sakala's touch is honestly shocking after such an incredible ball, and that was a whisker away for being 2, and that's exactly what happened after as Colak and Ryan Kent combines beautifully down the left hand side. Colak showing, plays Kent down, Kent has a wonderful cross in to the actual mixer, it drops again to Sakala, but he ends up smuggling it somehow just wide when it looked harder to miss than it did to score. Didn't do it. But again, misses happen. Again, nobody's actual perfect. What was great to see was actually fast, free-flowing football in a midfield that was winning every single battle. And the next moment equality came for Big Ben Davies at the back. Wonderful through ball out to Fashion Sakala. We've seen that for many years, kind of Goldson to Kent or Goldson to Aribo. Well, Davies, again, has this in his locker, and he's hit a couple this season already, but this one's beautiful. Plays in Sakala. Sakalap's galloping down. Colak's like, here. He's like, pass me it. I'll tap it in. Pass me it. I'll tap it in. But does Sakala do that? No. He tries a shot from way out on the right-hand side, which, to be fair, is well saved by the goalkeeper. But again, it's just an example of what frustrates me about this team and frustrates me about these players. Because what's the goal we conceded last week, people? Again, sorry to bring it up. Unselfish, team-first, team-driven mentality that's in every single one of them. Pass across, easy tapping for Kyogo. What do we do? It's not an isolated incident. People, that isn't a one-off. Me and you right now can go into the comment section and speak about 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 10 opportunities where we have guys there ready for tap-ins, but the people shoot every single time. Gone into last season, Dundee United, Arfield doing it the week later, everything like that. We've had this for many years, and it might not just be like a greed aspect or anything, because in Sakala's aspect, not to be disrespectful to the man, because people know I actually like him as a player and what he brings to the table, I just didn't think he sees that. I think he plays with blinders on people, and again, I'm not taking digs at the laddie, but he's not got the ability to lift his head up and pick a pass. If it's Tillman, he's doing it. That's why we beat PSV and made the Champions League group stages, but there's no too many in that squad that's got that ability to get the head up and just make the right decision, and that's why I want more quality like the Cantwells, the Tillmans added to the team, because they can see it and they're team first players. We've not had that, and I'm sorry for kind of going on a wee bit of a long tangent here, but it's these moments in games that drives me crazy, because that should be 2-0. It's so simple, it's so easy, pass the ball, 2-0 up, but we didn't do it. He has a shot for a stupid angle, and the big centre forward who's doing brilliant in the first 20 minutes doesn't get his goal. that he actually deserves. But people, we do end up getting the second goal 5-10 minutes after that as a wonderful ball comes in, and to be fair, does it luckily sort of bounce off the defender and fall to Colak? Yes, but look at the quality there, look at the unselfishness, look at the team first mentality. Does he touch that, hit a swivel try and get a shot off? No, he doesn't. He just sets up Sakala, who's in a much better position, who never done the pass to him 10 minutes earlier, but Colak's team first, and Sakala rolls it into the corner with an actual very, very nice finish, and it wasn't offside. Thankfully, people, Sakala scored a goal, and it isn't offside. My God, does it feel like Christmas in there. Yeah, we're 2-0 up there. It kind of feels like game, set and match already, just 30-35 minutes into the game, but that's down to the hard work and effort, people. So aye, shout out to Big Colak being unselfish there, because he's a bigger man than me. Sakala doesn't pass me that. Am I passing to him the rest of the game? No, people. But Colak did. Speaking of Colak did, by the way, the last major opportunity for us regarding the first half before, you know, what ends up coming from Colak, again combining very well with Ryan Kent. I didn't really realise they had that much of an understanding, but the day they were excellent together, and I thought Kent had a better game than he's had in a while as well. But it's a nice little back heel from Colak into Kent. Kent hits a no-look reverse pass to Colak. He spins his man, tries to have a shot, and it just goes over the bar. Again, he really deserved that goal tonight, but he never got the rub of the green. But what he did have, people, is a lot to say to the referee, who, again, was bogging, by the way. Spoiler alert, I had a bet on that had like Power getting booked in this game. I'm not getting into it, people, right? I can't get into it. No, but anyway, so he keeps nipping at the referee because of an incident where Tavernier hits a great through ball to Ryan Kent, and the defender, I thought he just shouldered it down, but Colak, you saw his reaction, he was so adamant, but he was so adamant, minute goes by, still arguing with the ref, 2 minutes goes by, still arguing with the ref, 3-4 minutes later the ball eventually goes out and he's straight to the referee again, saying, I've seen that hit this boy's arm, check it, and the ref's like, right, we'll check it, and then he ends up going to the monitor and seeing it, and this one, is it unlucky? Aye, people, because the defender's obviously running full pelt, there's a wee bit of contact with Kent, but by the letter of the law, does it bounce up and hit the arm? Aye, people, so that is a handball by the letter of the law these days, and up steps Tavernier. Why did Colak not take it? I know Tavernier scored 478 penalties this season, but still, I'm not getting in it. I might have Colak on my score anytime betting, but whatever, people. Colak hands the ball over to Tavernier. Tavernier smashes the penalty and beautifully hitting the side netting, which is again a perfect penalty. If you can hit the side net on either side, you've done the penalty the right way. And aye, that's 3-0, people. That's the 3 goals from Rangers, and that was truly game, set and match. Now, if you're wondering what Kilmarnock was offering during this period, if you want just a wee quick example, Armstrong, every single time he touched the ball, dived. People, I mean, this guy had more rolls than a snack van this afternoon at Ibrox. It was painful to actually watch. They just couldn't get out. They just never had an option, and Rangers going at half-time 3-0 up. Probably should at least be 4 if Sakala is a bit more unselfish and passes to Colak. But aye, it's been such a dominating, great performance. People standing out, everybody looking sharp. All you were wanting to see was Rangers continue. The half-time whistle almost came at the wrong time. You didn't actually want it, but you're thinking, right, we're all still angry. Let's go out and start the second half. We actually started the first. Now, how do I explain to every single person who's watching today's video that the first half was filled with so much quality, and the second half, the large majority of the second half, I should say, the players came out looking like they've never seen what that circular object actually is on the deck. They just came out flat, despite almost false positive, as Colak again spins his man perfectly. The man done a Moles turn this afternoon. Do you remember that? He done the Michael Moles turn. I didn't even understand how he's done it, but this time he actually picks the ball up, hits a wonderful 30-40 yard through ball to Sakala. Even adding the Ken Colak had that in his locker, and to be fair, Sakala does try to set up Raskin here, but Raskin's touch just takes it a little bit away from it. But that incident, that moment of quality to restart the second half, was the best that we played for 20 minutes in that second half. And no, I'm no joking, as the energy levels, the quality levels, the ability to play football levels dropped all the way down to here. Besides, in my personal opinion, Cantwell, whose level never dropped for a minute in this game. The amount of times he won that ball back, again, I've already said in today's video, was scary, but what was scarier in the second half is he really stood out amongst himself, if you know what I mean. Like, first half, he was doing all that, but Raskin was playing really well. You had Kent playing well. You had Colak being brilliant up there. So he was in and amongst it. But in the second half, it almost looked like a one-man team for the large majority of that, because again the level of quality just dropped massively, and as you can expect, that's inviting. Kilmarnock, to be fair, they did go for a lot more, bringing on former Rangers player Jordan Jones for a bit more pace in behind. They started to win set pieces, and to be fair, they should have scored before they actually did, as a ball comes in and McGregor just sort of flops it to the back post, very similar to the goalkeeper did for our first one, but the big centre half Ash Taylor can't put it into the back of net, and then a shot was hit directly at McGregor. It bounces off him, falls down, but we managed to get it away. But it was panic stations back there, and you know, I hate to say this about my hero McGregor, but he was giving me the absolute fear, and that fear was proven to be true as they get about the third or fourth consecutive corner. It comes in. Now, to be fair, the boy's climbing Connor Goldson like he's a treehouse. People, you know what I mean? He's up there. It's like he's trying to work him like a puppet. Clearly a foul. Connor Goldson thinks so. Tavernier thinks so. The whole defence thinks so. But again, play to the whistle, boys, as the boy headers it back into the mixer. And I don't know what McGregor done. I'm not wanting to go in it, because again, he's one of my favourite all-time players. But is this stinking? Aye, people. It's like he's just kind of fell ill at that point. The goalie's got to do better there, and I feel like if we've got a goalie at a higher level than what McGregor currently is, that's no in the back of net. A goalie's actually coming out and getting that and smelling it, despite the fact that it clearly was a foul. My only question is, if VAR is there and is working and does actually exist back up there, why they're not looking at that and saying, aye, the boy's climbed him like a climbing frame? It's clearly a free kick. But maybe the referee felt a wee bit bad about the penalty that was given against him because it was unlucky, but that's not the way it should work. It should work to the letter of the law. Or am I just talking nonsense? But after they scored, did they really have another chance after that? Not really. We made a change as Raskin had run his race as he came off for Lundstrom, who again got a wee bit of booze and everything like that from the actual stadium. That maybe was a message to him to up his game. And if we're being honest, when he came on, did we reclaim control of the middle of the park, slow things down and see the game out and really start to regain that control that we had lost? Aye, people, but that's not even a dig at Raskin. I just think the young lad, he had ran his race about 65 minutes into this game. Again, he's building his way up, and Lundstrom came in and bridged that gap, and we managed to seize control of the game, and that's when the chances started to pop off a little bit. Again, Ryan Kent, for me, done some very nice crosses. One, he finds big Colak, who gets in between the two centre-half. Headers it down, probably does everything you're supposed to do, but ends up being a very good save with the foot of the actual goalie as it gets it away. And then on comes Alfredo Morelos, and when you see it, you're like, Colak doesn't deserve to come off in this game, and Michael Beale agreed too. I think he's also talked him up heavily in his press conference, but he kept Colak on because of how well he was playing, and we got to see for a very, very short snippet Morelos and Colak up there together. And it was interesting because despite what people think about what I say about Morelos, I just think we need better and more consistent, because there's a cycle with Morelos, and tell me if this sounds familiar. Season starts, he's either miles off it or he's on form, right? He's either miles off it or he's either form. But whatever it is, it's the opposite comes true. Because then there's a period where he dips off a cliff, fitness starts to get a question, this starts to get questioned, attitude starts to get questioned, then he just peters out, then he gets hot again and everyone loves the boy, then he drops off again like a cliff for about 5-6 games, then he comes on again. That's the cycle with Alfredo Morelos. But for me, the best that Morelos has ever been at this football club, despite the peaks and the old valleys, is when he actually had a striker that would get games early to open. Remember when Defoe would come in, play the SPFL games, Morelos would have to come on and be angry and fight for his spot. I would like to see that, because again, I believe in Colak. You saw him the day, I know he's looked rough the last couple of games, but he's just back for an injury. Can we start treating him the exact same way as we treat our other players? So it was interesting seeing them playing together. And to me, I thought Morelos came on with the right attitude, trying to make things happen. He was actually running and everything like that. I was like, alright, this is class to actually see. And he got involved very well with Tavernier down the right hand side to create an opportunity for Cantwell, but it ends up getting blocked. And that leads us to the very last opportunity in the game, and it's no surprise that Colak again was heavily involved in it as he spins his man, runs in, he ends up beating, I think he's actually lucky rather than skill. Sorry if I'm taking it away from him here, but two centre backs come in to slide him, and he ends up just beating both of them, but I think it might ricochet off him. Maybe I'm taking that away from him. Maybe it is a great moment of skill, but then he picks out Ryan Jack, who finishes brilliantly, but it is just offside. So yeah, there's another Rangers game with another offside goal. I'll tell you, as soon as we learn that offside rule, trust me, we're going to be a problem in this actual league. And aye, that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We did end up coming out winning 3-1. The second half performance wasn't good enough, if I'm honest with you, but I've seen enough of the first half to suggest there is something there, and I thought the players who didn't play, and I thought the team selection was interesting as well. Talked a lot about players letting them do and seeing teams this way, blah blah blah, seeing players a certain way. Well, look at the players who started in this game. We talked about it yesterday. I think we're going to be playing the players that's going to be here next year. I think there's something in that when you actually look at that 11, besides obviously Tillman, who missed the game with an injury, and he's also missing Hibbs as well, but he should hopefully be back for Rafe. Anyway, that's what Michael Beale is targeting. And aye, that's everything I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen. We still need to have a complete performance apart from Tynecastle, but we got the win, we got the job done, and again we need to start picking ourselves up and start enjoying these moments, because win, lose or draw, we're Rangers fans, people. We won the day, good. Now let's actually see us continually win and end up winning something this season. And that's all I've got to say. What about you? What stood out to you? Who impressed you? What did you think about the actual game? I know like the likes of Suter and all that came on for like a minute and a half, and it was probably his best performance. I know he didn't touch the ball, but it's his best performance of the season. It was good to see the big man get a wee bit in minutes, etc. But there's no much to actually discuss. What do you want to talk about? Let me know down in the comment section below. And again, who was your man in the match and why was it Cantwell? And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I've been CJ over 92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.